What is up, everybody? Hugo Nowhere back with another video, and today my weekly obsession is the game Highguard. Have you guys heard of Highguard? Anybody? Well, if you haven't heard of Highguard, Highguard is for the lack of a better word, a combination of a lot of different games that comes from a studio by the name of Wildlight Entertainment. It's actually a studio that was founded by a lot of people, a lot of veterans in the industry from Apex, Titanfall, and even Call of Duty. This is their first major title. They're calling it a siege shooter, but essentially it's an objective-based game where the point of the game is to destroy the enemy player's base. Okay, it's a 3v3, and while you're doing it, you can upgrade your gear, upgrade your guns, get better sieging weapons, all the while still providing you what should be a decent first-person shooter experience. People take this common, for example. They're calling it League of Valorant Paladin 6 Siege with a little bit of Apex. So off the bat, you can see that the game is a little bit of a mixed bag. What makes it worse is that this game was the last game showed at last year's Game Awards, okay? If you ever watched the Game Awards, the last trailer, or the last game shown, is pretty much the biggest game that's coming out soon. So the fact that a game like this, which people coined a hero shooter, which is not far off, don't get me wrong, I don't think that's an exaggeration. It's part of what this game's identity is. But being given that honor, a lot of people found that to be a little bit lackluster. Now, Jeff Keighley, the person that hosts the Game Awards, really hyped this game up. And unfortunately, I think that he did more worse than he did good. A month after this game was released, up until 2 days before it came out, there was nothing. There was no marketing done for this game. We got a small trailer, again, 48 hours before it came out, and Jeff Keighley took it upon himself to post this on X. In 48 hours, I'll be expecting your apology. So, was this game gonna be an Apex where it was essentially shadow dropped and people loved it and it has taken off ever since? Or was it going to be another forgotten hero shooter like Concord? You guys remember Concord? 48 hours later, we finally got the drop, Highguard. And oh boy, did it come out to very terrible reviews. I was kind of shocked of how terribly it was review bombed. As I was scrolling through all of the reviews, I noticed that a lot of people didn't really play all that much. People took it upon themselves to just go and add on to what was already going to be a very divisive game. But I didn't want to write it off there and then. I wanted to play the game for myself, and I'm not going to lie, because of everything that unfolded, it just made me even more intrigued to want to play the game. I love a good underdog tale, so if this was going to be that, I kind of wanted to be a part of it. I like first-person shooters. I like a lot of the games that this game takes inspiration from, so hey, why not? The night that it came out, I downloaded it, booted it up, and played a few games. And then the following day, I also did the same. And I don't hate Highguard. Is it a perfect game? Absolutely not. But I think it deserves to be given a chance. Because of the fact that Jeff Keighley hyped this game up so much to a fault, I feel really bad for the studio themselves, okay? When you play this game, you could definitely tell that there is some passion behind it. And as we're about to dive into, I think the game has potential. If this game would have just been shadow drop like the developers were originally going to do via this statement from Kotaku here. Look, we always plan for a surprise release. Studio co-founder Chad Grenier told Kotaku at a preview event earlier this month. Jeff came in and wanted to do something special and put us in the TGAs. We were gonna do a shadow drop, since day one, almost since forming this company. We did it with Apex and it worked well. Instead, Wildlight decided to close gaming's biggest event of the year with the trailer that left some intrigued but others unimpressed. It was a gamble that ricocheted out across social media in unpredictable ways, with mini drama cycles sprouting up around the lack of new information surrounding the game ahead of its January 26th launch. Some even theorize it might secretly get delayed after the poor reaction to the first trailer. We've known Jeff for a long time, and he said, let me do something that's maybe a little risky in hindsight, but different to a free-to-play PvP raid shooter and do something with it. Grander said, so we rushed the trailer together. I wish the reception had been better, but in hindsight, we made a trailer to entertain really quickly and didn't show the gameplay loop and what's different and unique. So here we are, we're launching the game now, and the team is resilient and enthusiastic, Grainer said. They've made a ton of games in their careers. We've seen the highs and lows. I think ultimately we believe wholeheartedly in what we've created. I will put in the description the link to this article if you want to read it. But like I said, if the game wasn't placed where it was at the Game Awards, I think people would have been more receptive and even given it more of a fair chance than they have. But I do want to emphasize that don't just go with what the masses are saying. Actually take the time to play the game and then make your own opinion, okay? That's what I did, and I really think everybody should too. So why do I like this game? Okay, well, in true Ted Mosby fashion, I made a pros and cons list.
It's pros and cons time!
And kids, they really cheered.
And I'm just gonna run through it really quickly and let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. Real quick though, before we dive into it, I just wanna say thank you for everybody that has subscribed to this channel in the past month. It has been incredible. Because of you guys, I was actually able to apply for the YouTube Partner Program. So now I have access to membership. So if you wanna join, you do get a few benefits by being a member. I'll link it in the description as well. It would really help out the channel, and there's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So it would be awesome if you join. If not, don't worry. No stress whatsoever. You just viewing the video and liking and maybe even commenting is still enough. So thank you so much for getting me this far. I really want to emphasize just how grateful I am. Thank you so much, guys. Anyways, back to Highguard. The first pro is that the game is free to play. You put no money down. It's not like a Concord where it costs 40 bucks. Yes, there are microtransactions in the game themselves. It's all cosmetic though. Nothing gives you a leg up while you're actually playing the game. It's all purely cosmetic, and a lot of them do look really cool. They cost about 1,600, whatever the name of their currency is, I can't remember. Industry standard, about 20 bucks. But they do give you a free season pass, and the way you obtain these rewards is by just playing the game. So there's 3 types of currencies in Highguard, okay? You have the Highguard Gold, which is used to purchase war chests and store cosmetics available through direct purchase, which again is real money. Warden Credits, which is earned by playing games and completing challenges used to unlock rewards in the trading post. Warden Credits are capped to 10,000, spend some to earn more. And Vigil Tokens, which is earned by playing matches and used to unlock war chest content. Vigil Tokens are capped to 3,000, spend some to earn more. So both the Warden Credits and the Vigil Tokens are earned in game, and that war chest, well, that's just the season pass. So you're able to unlock everything that's on the season pass just by playing the game, getting Vigil Tokens, and then choosing whatever reward you want. Once you spend a certain amount of those Vigil Tokens on one page, it'll unlock the next one via Arc Raiders if you played that. Microtransactions, yes, they're here to stay. It's part of the game industry now, but as long as it doesn't intervene with the actual gameplay, cosmetics don't really hurt anybody. There's also a series of quests where you are able to unlock even more cosmetics. So the game does offer you a plethora of items to unlock just by playing, and who doesn't love that? And if you're a baller shot caller, you're also able to buy the cosmetics that you want, and some of them are pretty freaking awesome. Next item on the list, the gunplay. I really love the gunplay. I think it's pretty fast. I think the guns sound really good. The mobility is also really nice, and all of that translates really well when you're on your mount. So this game offers you a way to traverse a map that's between you and the enemy's base. Obviously, walking or running, not that good, but the mount makes everything really fast. You're also able to upgrade the saddle that you're on, and that makes it go faster, and it also gives your mount a lot more health. So I think the mount combat as well as the regular gunplay, I think both of those things are actually really fun. For the most part though, I kind of like where it's at. If they just tweaked it a little bit, I think it'd even be better. Next up, I have the concept. The concept of this game is both good and bad. I do like that the studio tried to do something different with this game. It did take inspiration of several games. These people made Titanfall, Call of Duty, Apex Legends, and I think the concept and the bones of this game are pretty cool, okay? All of them by themselves are nice. When you put them all together, it mixes kind of well, but there's still a lot of things that I think the game should rework, and we'll get to that in the con section of the video. But for now, the concept, the fact that they are trying to do something different, whether it hit or missed, I still think that is good. I want to see if they're able to excel in that and even give us a very unique game at the end of the day. The game is split into 3 sequences. I believe it's the reinforce sequence, which is at the beginning where you have to reinforce the area around your bombs. Once you do that, you go to the gear up sequence of the game, where that's where you go around collecting Vesper. Okay, this is the in-game currency that you use to buy better weapons, better armor, better revive tokens, I think that's what it's called, better saddles for your mount. At the end of the gear up section, a shield breaker appears on the map, and this is where you have to contest it with the other team. Once your team has collected the shield breaker, you ride towards the enemy's base and you have to put it into position. There's usually 2 areas outside, these like stone pillars, where you're able to insert the shield breaker, and that begins the siege. This giant siege machine appears and it starts to break the enemy's defenses, which is just this outer dome, I don't know, made out of energy or something. It takes a few seconds, but once it's broken, at least a portion of their base is, you run inside and you try to plant at point A or B. Editing Hugo here, I completely forgot to mention there is another place you could plant a bomb. It's called the anchor point. It's usually in the middle of the enemy's base or at your base. If somebody plants it and manages to actually explode it, you automatically lose the game. Yeah, just wanted to say that because I completely forgot to mention it in the video. My bad. This is the most fun part of this game, where it just becomes player versus player. You have to rush to try and plant the bombs. The enemy team has to try and defuse it, or you have to try to defuse it if it's the other way around and they manage to siege your base. It's just overall fun, okay? This is where that Rainbow Six Siege inspiration I think comes in for the most part, or if you play, I don't know, Demolition from Call of Duty. It's nonstop, and I like it. Something else I liked are the legends, or the wardens, whatever you want to call them, the heroes. I think for the most part they all look pretty cool, but they're split into different categories. There's destruction wardens, recon wardens, assault wardens, defensive wardens, and support wardens. Right now there's only 1 destruction, 1 recon, 3 assault, 2 defensive, and 1 support. So the variety in terms of category is lacking, but I do like the unique abilities that they have. My personal favorite has always been the assault. On top of that, the destruction class itself, I feel like doesn't necessarily have that much value because it's focused on breaking down walls, and you want to break down walls when you're the one that's raiding, when you're the one that's infiltrating the other team's base. But when you're back at your base and you're defending, it's really hard to use at least the ult that we have for our only destruction warden, Redmayne. Okay, his ult is to scream really loudly and blow up every walls in your surrounding. If you're at your base, you don't want to do that because you want the enemy to have a hard time to get into your base. So why would you ult? I don't understand. And that could be a little bit reworked. I don't know how you would. I guess that's just the downside of playing that one particular class. Maybe it's just a me thing. Most classes are pretty fun to play as, and from what I was able to gather the last 5 hours that I played, there's still so much that I have left to learn about each and every single class. So I'm actually excited to get back and play some more of them, and hopefully they're able to add more classes in the destruction, the recon, and the support section, because I think support is very needed in this game, like a lot. Now we get to the cons list. Okay, I think the cons list is shorter than the pros, which is a good thing in my opinion. So let's just jump right into it. In terms of cons, my PC is not the beefiest PC, but even in low to medium graphic settings, this game takes a toll on it. Okay, it's hard to record like on OBS. I had to play around with different settings to finally get some sort of stable frame rate, and I'm okay with 60 FPS, okay? But the fact that it's really hard to even run the game at some points is kind of disappointing. So the optimization, at least for me in my experience, is a little off. Remember how I said that the concept was both a pro and a con? Well, this is where it's a con. There's a saying that I like, jack of all trades is a master of none, and that's what I think this game is trying to do. I get it that a lot of things are going to take inspiration from other things, but at the same time, when you just try to mishmash everything together, it creates a very confusing game. Take this for example. You have the mining of the Vesper that you need to upgrade your gear. You have to traverse an entire map that is pretty big for a 3v3 game. And on top of that, what if you don't get enough Vesper to upgrade your gear? On top of that, you're able to buy the gear that you need from your base without actually needing to go out and venture off. There is a vendor that appears everywhere. It's the same vendor everywhere you go on the map. He spawns in certain locations, but at every single stand, he offers you a different weapon. So let's say my favorite weapon is the Dynasty, which is just an AK-47. The vendor that's at my base, that's inside my base, may not have it, but a vendor outside in the map might. I just have to go from vendor to vendor to vendor and try to find an upgraded version of this gun that I have. Or I might just get lucky and open it from a chest, because yes, there's chests on this map that offer you a bunch of shields, different rarity weapons as well, and there's also airdrops where if you're able to get to one and blow it up, usually there's a lot of shields that you can pick up, as well as one red weapon, which I believe it's called the Big Rig, which is just a really crazy heavy machine gun that you're able to obliterate people with. And I think, as far as I know, this is the only place you're able to get it, is from an airdrop. But for the most part, I feel like it tries to do so much and it gives you many options to get to the same conclusion. But at the end of the day, if we just cut some of those options and just give us one way to get whatever we need, it's gonna simplify the game a lot. That gear up portion is about maybe like 5 minutes of just wandering around, mining for Vesper. It's just doing too much. And although in this portion of the game you are able to run into enemies, which is fun, because it's 3v3, that to me rarely happens. The only time I run into enemies is when the shield breaker is about to spawn and everybody's camping around that same area to try and get it first. If they could somewhere or another eliminate something and condense it, and I feel like that would just be much better. Also, if you want to keep the maps as big as they are, add some enemies to them so we could kill them and also get Vesper in that way. I don't know, make it a PvPvE type of deal. I think the game would benefit a lot from being 4v4 or 5v5. 6v6 might be a little bit too much, but definitely 4v4 or 5v5 might be the sweet spot for this type of game. And again, that would give you an excuse to make the bases a little bit larger. And I think a lot of people would like that, considering that the maps would be a little bit smaller. That way combat could happen more than in just the shield breaker obtaining section of the game, or when you actually infiltrate somebody's base. There could be more action and more gunplay, which is the thing that really shines about this game. Also, can we cut the spawn times, please, by like half maybe? I don't know what it is. Because it is 3v3, the fact that you have to wait 20 seconds before being able to come back, you know, by the time that you come back up, you already lost a point. So you lose out on trying to defend it the best that you could. The spawn times being 20 seconds, I think it's too much. I think this should at least be 10. Maybe 12, but 20 seconds is a little too much for me. Another thing, the reinforcements that you do during that phase don't tend to do a lot. And a lot of times you could just walk around the base and you'll find a wall that you could break more easily than the ones that are reinforced, but even then you're only saving a few seconds. So I don't think the reinforcements do all that much, and starting with 5, I don't think that's enough, if I'm being completely honest. I know that you could buy reinforcement with Vesper at the vendors or find it in a chest, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't necessarily think the reinforcement portion of this game was thought out all that well. So I think that does need to be tweaked. I don't have any ideas as of now, but if anything, just increase the damage it can maintain. I rarely see myself using my third weapon gear, which is like my siege weapon, whether it's a hammer or a rocket launcher, whatever it might be. I generally think that the reinforcement portion of this game has to be reworked a little bit, which hopefully will give me an incentive to actually use my heavy weapon or my siege weapon, whatever they want to call it. And I think those are all my cons as of now. I've only played the game for about 5 hours, but I have to just genuinely let you guys know that I have fun with it. I jumped in with 2 of my other friends. One, FPSs wasn't their favorite type of game, so their reaction was pretty mixed, although they did say they would play this game again. And then one of my other friends who loves FPS, is, you know, really big into Fortnite, Apex, games like that, Arc Raiders, he really enjoyed it too. So I think there is potential, and I don't want this game to fail. I don't think a lot of people want games to fail. I like the fact that a smaller studio in comparison to the AAA developers, I think they have a decent foundation. There just has to be a lot of tweaking done to this game to hopefully keep their player base. As of recording this video, there's about 11,000 players, at least from what I can tell from Steam. I don't think that's a bad player count, but it wasn't near to what this game was when it launched, which was almost 100,000 people. And again, I feel like that was mostly because people wanted to see if this game was going to fail or not day one. And a lot of those first reviews were a lot of people that just commented off of maybe their first hour or so in the game, and they didn't really have anything nice to say. I hope I'm not in the minority when it comes to people that actually enjoyed playing this game. Like I said, it's not perfect at all, but I had some fun with it. And at the end of the day, I know it's repetitive, rinse and repeat. I mean, a lot of games are. It's just how that game goes about its repetition that makes it worth it or not. For example, in Arc Raiders, it's the same thing, rinse and repeat. It's an extraction shooter, okay? You pick a map, you go to that map, you get resources, you extract, and you go back to Esperanza, and you do it all over again. Rainbow Six Siege is kind of the same thing. You try to plant, you try to defuse, you rinse and repeat. A lot of games have repetition. Repetition is not a bad thing. I think this game could be good for just the casual player. You get home from work, you play a few rounds, you go to bed. It is what it is, okay? As you play, you get rewards, you get a free season pass, you get to spend your coins on free cosmetics that change, I think, every week. It's a pretty good incentive, okay? I don't think the game is bad. I think the hate is a little bit overblown. If this game was just shadow drop like the developers were initially planned, I think people would be more receptive and, I don't know, maybe understanding, maybe that's the word, of this game and might enjoy it. But yeah, those are my takes on this game. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. It's a very diverse game, and I don't know, I talked about Stranger Things is conformity gate on this channel. I really like having hope in things. I think having hope in a game, I don't know, maybe that's just too deep. At the end of the day, this game is fun. I think you should give it a try, make your own opinions of it, and let me know how you like it in the comment section down below. That's all I have to say. I'm You Go Nowhere, you stay golden, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. Thank you so much.